$80. The reason a young female medical student couldn't complete her degree and return to her community in Lightning Ridge to be a GP. A tax file number. The reason a young man from Alice Springs couldn't complete his law degree at UNSW and return to the Northern Territory a criminal defence barrister. Dodgy Wi-Fi and an outdated university software system. The reason a young girl from Kempsey couldn't even enrol in one of Sydney's prestigious universities to study physio. In 2025, it's ridiculous that these are real, insurmountable hurdles that nearly stopped Zana, Kobe and Danica from pursuing their dreams and becoming leaders of their communities and of our country. Thankfully, Bandu eliminates these hurdles, and in doing so, we're addressing the most pressing need in First Nations Australia right now. Let me illustrate that need for you. In 2011, only 37% of First Nations students completed high school. By 2024, that number had jumped to 65%. Now, that growth is a result of a necessary focus on primary and secondary Indigenous education from the government, from education sector, and from people like you. Unfortunately, however, the good news and the success stops there. In 2024, of that wave of outstanding young students finishing high school at higher rates than ever before, only 47% would enrol in tertiary qualifications, whether that's university or TAFE. Of that number, only 26% will complete their degrees, their courses. Why? Well, it isn't from a lack of effort or a lack of desire. Zana didn't have $80 to get a train ticket back from Lightning Ridge after a funeral to continue her medical degree. Kobe didn't have a tax file number to access the scholarship support he needed for his law course. And Anika's Wi-Fi dropped out and then the university software system failed her. Yes, these seem like trivial issues, but they're real issues that exist in our country as a result of systemic disadvantage. They're real issues that impact Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander students every day. They impact on their employability and therefore genuine reconciliation moving forward. At Bandu, we've created a 4-pillar wraparound care model that ensures these roadblocks and hurdles are eliminated and our students can fly. There's no better person to speak to that model and its success than Aidan.
And I'm here before you today, not just as a proud Wiradjuri man from Dubbo, but as a product of Bandu's 4 pillars of support. Tertiary education, employment, accommodation and community drive everything we do here. So when I was in year 12, I was sitting in Ed's office and I remember he asked me that age-old question, what's next? And at that point, it was go home, work in a boxing gym in Dubbo, and I had no clue what else was going to come after that. But he asked me 2 important questions. What if you could own the gym? What if you could own multiple? And it was a real shift in thinking, and it was something that I couldn't do myself. I needed the support, and I received that from my family, and I received it from Ed. He helped me to secure accommodation so that I could actually be down in Sydney studying. He helped me to enrol as the first in my family to actually attend university, and he helped me to find meaningful employment whilst I was studying to support myself. And at Bandu, that's the kind of support we're hoping to provide to every young First Nations person who needs it. How do we do that? Through 3 key directives. Our student support, connecting with participants from as young as year 10 and helping them to build their dreams, holding their hands as they walk these unpaved paths, but also just helping them to really reach that goal in the future. Secondly, we train and educate the corporate sector. We're working with companies that it's not just a box-ticking exercise for them. They're looking to create real, meaningful social change within corporate Australia. And thirdly, we build a community. Our participants, employers, family, supporters, all come together to build these relationships which do last a lifetime. I've seen what happens when that support isn't there. I've had family, friends, peers, all fall through the wayside just due to not having that support that they need. Up until year 12, they had the exact same support that I did. But once again, I'm here as a product of that support and that success. And one of the proudest things for me as an Aboriginal man is to see these young people that we've got in our program following through and fulfilling their dreams. This year alone, we've managed to secure 4 houses in Sydney for our young First Nations people to live in, but also to build their futures and achieve their dreams in. We started with 15 students in 2023. We've had 74 last year. And we've got over 130 young First Nations people in our programs. It's exciting. It's pretty scary. But I think it speaks to the need and really shows that that support is something these young people are just desiring and asking for. But with that growth, we need more support. And that's where you come in.
The impact of Bandu is real. Our social return on investment is calculated at $14. So for every $1 we spend, we save the government $14. How does that work? It costs us $3,500 per year to provide our wraparound care model to all our students. Meanwhile, the government is spending in excess of $44,000 a year per person and not achieving the same outcomes. So with that growth in our programs comes our need for more support. And as Aidan said, that's where we're relying on you. What do we need? We need to employ a First Nations female engagement officer to support our young women coming through our program. And we need to continue our living support options and housing needs for our young First Nations apprentices who have to relocate from rural and remote areas to Sydney to get genuine employment. There's no St John's College for Aboriginal apprentices. If we can continue our support, we can ensure that Zana gets that train, Kobe's got that tax file number, and Anika's Wi-Fi doesn't drop out. So over to you.